Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Scotty, beam me up.
Hulk. Smash. Get over here.
It is pointless to resist.
I remember.
All right.
All right.
And we're back counting down our top 22,000 horror movies. We've taken some deep cuts with this list. And I have a feeling we're going to get even deeper with these because I know you guys have seen a lot more than I have.
Well, then the choices became.
And I know I've forgotten a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh man, there's a movie. And that movie is Black Sheep, by the way. It just came to my head. I'm like, oh god, I forgot Black Sheep.
That was an unexpectedly good movie.
Oh my god, I love that movie. And for those watching, obviously not the Chris Farley movie. But
although they weren't released that well, no, they were. I guess Chris.
Yeah, it was quite a distance in time between those two movies. About 10 years.
As you get older, though, they blend together. The time
No
does.
way.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
That was positive. Came out in the early 2000s. Came out in the mid 90s.
Right. I thought Audition was a 2000s movie. Nope, it came out in 99. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was positive when you actually. I think I even asked about it. I was like, "You sure?"
You did. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I had to double check myself because I thought it came out in 2000. And I thought it was a Kurosawa film for some reason. No, Takashi Miike.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get into him on this list for sure.
Oh, but yeah. Well, why wouldn't you? Anytime you get
And
name that guy, he doesn't get. I mean, don't get me wrong. People know him, but he deserves way more credit. That dude's been so influential in so many ways.
Yeah.
Not that his movies alone. Even if you're one of those people that hates subtitles, I guarantee a Takashi Miike movie will pull you in. You'll be okay with
100%.
subtitles because the story will be enough to hold you.
Mm.
So,
Absolutely. And then we're gonna get into a little Eli Roth as well.
oh yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
I can tell you that right now.
Which leads me to believe we have several matchers on this one.
Yeah. And of course, the current I'm taking a leap saying this, but I believe it, even though I haven't seen his latest film. Rob Zombie, the current king, I would say.
I did not add any zombie movies because I knew you guys were going to. I did try and do that. Like when I ran across
I did
stuff
add one, but I
like,
changed it.
I did my best to not do it in the hopes that you would get it because I feel like you definitely will because we've talked about them before. So my thoughts are,
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you right now with mine, yeah, for sure.
like a lot
at least one brought up. Yeah.
Oh no!
Which, by the way, the Monsters was awesome.
I just haven't had a chance to check it.
Still haven't watched it.
I have to check it out. I got to get HBO Max again.
I think it's on
right.
Netflix.
It's Netflix.
Netflix, that's right. But either way, I got to get Netflix. But all right, Craiger, you're kicking us off this time. So what do you got?
Well, the first thing that honestly popped into my head, the one I talk about all the time, Terror Tunes.
Terror Tunes. Of course.
Yep.
Interesting kickoff.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay. I first saw that movie in the 6th grade. No, it wouldn't have been 6th grade because it came out in 2002. So I would have been freshman in high school. But my buddy Zach, who I talk about a lot here, he's been on the show. He goes to the local video store and rents this movie. And he's like, dude, I got to bring this movie. I was like, all right, come on. So he brings over his PS2. We hook it up to the TV because it had a DVD player on it.
Mm.
The only way I can watch DVDs at my house because my mom refused to get me a DVD player for
I would.
years.
It's on VHS.
We have a VCR, James. We have a VCR on cable. So he brings over Terror Tunes, and it changed my life. I can
Yeah.
honestly say, when he cuts the top of the guy's head off and starts tickling his brain until he starts drooling. I've only seen the movie one time, and that scene stuck with me forever. You don't forget something like that.
I think the only time I've seen the movie was on USA. USA Network. You remember when they used to do Up All Night?
Yeah.
Right, so,
Yeah.
Up All Night. So the first time I saw it would have been during the month of October. They used to do the Up All Night, except it was horror themed.
Yeah.
And Hurricanes was on it.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is how I remember watching that movie.
But
same as James, I rented it all the time, and then I actually owned a copy of it at one point because I just rented it so much. I think I bought it from Hollywood Video.
that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know why I never bought that movie because I love it. I loved it then. I'm sure I would love it now. But I remember after like the special features on it, it gave the company's other movies like Quilt Face.
Yeah, Brain Damage. Yeah.
Brain Damage Films.
Yep.
I'm like, oh man, Craig, good choice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kept me from having it. Oh man. Jason, what you got for us?
All right, so probably one of the biggest movies of the 2000s, especially in its ability to launch a franchise, Final Destination.
Yeah, I have that one too.
2000. Devin Sawa, I think we've all talked about how much we love him.
Yeah.
More importantly, and I mean that's literally what it is. Just how one thing about that movie when I saw that thing in theaters, and I remember watching it, and it's like the first time I ever saw it without understanding what was happening was you like how they're setting up the death is not how it's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be a surprise death, and it always was, and it was good that way.
Mm-hmm.
And also the franchise, the lead-in, I love the fact that they were able to draw it out as far as they were. You would have thought it would have gotten stale, but it became more entertaining to me.
There's another one coming out.
I know, and it's going to be fucking good.
It's supposed to be the final one, though.
Yeah.
Or so they say. Or it's going to be a reboot. I'm betting on reboot.
Maybe. I mean, if you think about the last Final Destination movie they made, it turned out to actually be a prequel, which sort of looped the whole thing together.
In a weird way.
To sum it all up. Like, if they had kept it like that and made it a closed loop, I felt like that was a brilliant way to do it. But there are inventive ways to fucking kill people in movies, so why not keep doing it? If you have the budget.
That's really the way that movie is done. That's a way, like, you can't mess with fate. You know what I mean? That's what the whole movie is saying. Like, you're gonna die in this order. So
Well, even Tony Todd, once again, showing up and being his Tony Toddness, just like rocking out as a mortician.
Of course.
Who knows way fucking more than he should.
Right.
And he's a side moment just to provide. He's an exposition character, but he's in there just long enough to basically be like, oh no, there's a plan. You guys fucked it up. Incidentally, there might be a way out of the plan. I'm not saying there is, but there could be. I got to go. This was a fun minutes.
Yeah.
Like when Chris Farley shows up in Wayne's World.
Fucking true. I don't know. The point of the matter is the movies themselves, the way in which they were put together, they're interesting. They're fun to watch. The funny parts are funny, the gory parts are gory, and the overall story, it's enough to keep you like, how the hell are they possibly going to get out of this?
Yeah.
Yep.
And once again, Devin Sawa. I don't think the man's given enough appreciation.
Did a great job. Like, he's great in everything, but like in that movie specifically, he's just fantastic.
He's in 2 of my top 10s. That one and Idle Hands.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. I had that one on my list too. But moving on. Yeah, but yeah, Final Destination, great pick as well. Like, just the entire franchise, really. Like,
Yeah.
you could really pick any of them. And yeah, you have to watch them in order, but it's like you could really just at any time watch any of them and enjoy it as is.
Stands alone. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's an overall.
Yeah, they each stand alone, but you could like if you're watching it, I could see some parts where you might get confused, but if you just ignore that shit,
Yeah, if you start on part 3, it's still explained. It's understandable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, fantastic. But all right. My first one.
Yep.
Shit, there's a lot here. Not a good one though, but American Psycho.
Yeah, I had that one.
You guys too. Good call.
I was introduced to Christian Bale through The Dark Knight. Like that's when I first really started enjoying his movies, like that trilogy. Went back and watched American Psycho and was completely fucking blown away.
See, I only ever really knew him as Patrick Bateman. Like like
that's how everybody else
even in The Dark Knight. Like, yeah.
I think it was
that's how everybody. What's that?
The first movie I remember seeing Christian Bale in was Empire of the Sun.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it was. That was like the World War II.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was still a kid. The next time I saw him was definitely American Psycho, though. That's when he.
Yeah.
Right.
Was him as an adult. Christ, did he not nail that fucking part? I mean, he was fucking cold as shit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the backstory? You know about like how he chose to play it. Did you guys ever read this? All right, so in an interview, they were trying to figure out where, because first off, it was Bret Easton Ellis when he wrote American Psycho, which, by the way, if you've never read the book, it's disjointed and horrible and feels like a mind fuck while you read it. It's actually so funny, it's not even funny. But the thing is, when his book got optioned, turned into a movie, they gave it to a female director. He was pissed off because he did not believe that a female director could actually do it correctly. Because, I mean, the thing is, if you do look at Bateman being a psychopath or whatever, he's also an extreme example of an 80s ultra Wall Street misogynist. Like, so he thought only America could do that movie correctly. He was wrong. American Psycho is a fucking classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point
if you're looking at like, if you're looking at Chuck Palahniuk's like Patrick Bateman, that's who it is. You know, like that would be that was the mental image I had.
Okay, what's funny though is in particular, Christian Bale got the smile and the expression and just his way of emoting from Tom Cruise interviews.
I can see that.
Said, I was watching Tom Cruise doing these interviews, and he has this sort of vacuous, open-ended smile with nothing behind the eyes, and that's what I tried to mimic. And man, he fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Hair and everything, man. The hair and everything, he fucking nailed it. But yeah, like that movie, that was like, oh no, this is Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Like I watched that and The Machinist, because The Machinist was like, when he did The Machinist, that was filmed the same year as Dark Knight. Within 6 months, he lost and gained so much weight.
Yeah.
He's lucky to be alive. So kudos.
Kind of is.
He's a badass. He's a fucking badass.
He is. He's an incredible actor. He's good at what he does. I've never seen a movie that he's in that I did not like him. I may not like the movie. He will do his part well.
The Prestige.
Oh God, well, I'll watch The Prestige just because David Bowie shows up for 5 seconds.
Right. Another one. He just nailed that role. Like,
well, it's once again, he's everything he does. Yeah. Honestly, I think Bateman would be great to drop into almost any horror movie. Not Bateman as a character. Sorry, Christian Bale. I know it sounds weird. He plays drama so well, but the thing is,
he can play anything.
I actually feel like he can. I'm not sure he can pull off comedy. I've never seen the guy deliver a one-liner in my life.
I'd like to.
Yeah,
I think he probably could. Though. I feel
He's
like
British, of course he could.
Well, I mean, it's like if you put him as the straight man in any horror movie, and I'm talking about the guy who is 100% wondering why everybody else is so fucking stupid,
Right.
it would elevate whatever that movie is so far beyond what it was meant to be.
You
Yeah.
mean like the Henry
It's like Alan
Rollins
Tudyk and Tucker and Dale.
or
You
Henry
know what I mean?
Rollins or Henry Rollins and Feast?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Being just Henry Rollins showing up at Feast, like such an odd choice, but still.
This
true.
doesn't run out of ammo.
We need to show our dominance.
Right.
I have now let them know that we are dominant by sticking their baby's head on a spike.
Yeah. American Psycho. Fantastic though.
Very good choice.
Go watch it if you have not seen it.
Yep.
Greg.
Let's see. I'm just gonna go right down my list. I got The Strangers.
Yep.
Ah,
My
That one.
all-time favorites. To be
2008.
Mm.
Very good movie.
Chaos
Home
for the
invasion
purpose of
horror.
chaos.
Yep.
Home invasion horror.
Yeah.
With
Just
the best explanation ever for any horror movie.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
because
Why?
you
Because
answered
you
the
were
door.
Like
Like
that's it. That's you were there. Because sometimes bad shit fucking happens.
yeah.
Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman.
Yep.
For those who aren't familiar with Scott Speedman, if you've seen the Underworld movies, it's Michael.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can really say about it though, without like if there are people who've not seen the movie, and don't get me wrong, I mean we're talking about
Yeah,
a movie
because
that's-
you can't really say too much without spoiling the entire
Giving it away. Yeah.
it
theme
hits
of
the
the movie.
classic points. Like there are parts where you want to yell at the screen, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, there are other points where you want to yell at the screen. How could that possibly be the outcome?
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it's a good movie. It's
Yep.
a very good.
It's a good watch for sure. But, Jason.
Sorry, I was thinking about The Strangers.
You're good.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I don't know if I need to hop around the list. I think that we all successfully tried to avoid stuff that we knew one of us would add.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's
So
no need
far, we're matching on my list. I got 4 check marks
Is anything
not-
matching yet?
on
All right.
mine. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Mm-hmm.
You had Final Destination, didn't you?
I've had everything you guys have mentioned so far.
All right. In that case, I'm going to throw one at you that you maybe did not have,
All right.
because a lot of people didn't know that it even existed. The Attic Expeditions.
Never even heard of
Great
it.
movie.
Did you? Okay, so yeah, you know it's in
Educate me, my friend.
if you want to sit down and watch it again, because holy shit, I haven't watched it in probably like 10 years. I love that fucking movie.
Yeah. I'd
Jeffrey
always be
Combs,
down to
who
watch
I'm
that again.
Watching pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Jeffrey Combs and Seth Green, oddly enough, in just a side character that will pull focus the entire movie. And he's not really that important, but man, he steals it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Seth Green, real quick, I want to touch on this. In our 90s episode, I forgot to mention him being in It.
Oh yeah. Oh, did we not?
Yeah.
I thought we did. Did we not?
Yeah, no, we completely forgot about it.
Whoops.
Like, yeah, so shout out to Seth Green for his performance. He was great in It.
Yeah, along
Anyway,
Richie Mosier.
yes,
Is that right? Yeah.
the young one.
Yeah.
But all right. Anyway, back to what we're talking about now. The Attic Expedition.
You could give a slight synopsis on it. You can't really say too much because honestly, there's no way to explain it without watching it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of a head fuck of a movie,
Mm.
and it's an unexpected head fuck. It seems very straightforward until you're watching it.
Yeah.
Once again, the scary parts there. Actually, there aren't even, to me at least, any even jump scares in it. It's actually
No, not really. Yeah.
all just like the general sense of foreboding and dread. You know,
Like
something you want
psychological
to
horror.
figure out what it is.
Psychological horror.
Yeah, though there's definitely, but there's also like almost Lovecraftian horror involved as well. Like there's a lot of just nuance, really, and it was done well. It holds up too, in my opinion. Like a lot of this was a 2001, so I mean, we're talking about a movie at this point that is 21 years old, and the effects are good. The cinematography is fucking great.
Right.
It's done well, and it kind of flew under the radar. Like, it released and nobody knew it released.
Yeah.
I saw it because somebody randomly suggested on a message board.
That's the best way to see movies.
It was, and the guy, and actually, what's funny is the dude that suggested it suggested, like, pretty much talk about the way I am. Like, seriously, you will not expect what's happening in it, which is everything you could ask for in a decent horror movie.
Yeah, it's a attic.
Also, there is no good guy in it.
I love that. I love that. The attic expedition.
Yep.
Okay. All right, my turn. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna say it. House of a Thousand Corpses.
Didn't add it because I knew somebody would.
Yep, I did not add it because I knew it was going to be there.
Holy shit, we've actually talked about this, and I feel like we've mentioned House of a Thousand Corpses through every decade.
We have, because Rob Zombie, obviously, if you've seen
It's
any
a
of
love
them,
letter. It's a fucking love letter to fucking Texas Chainsaw.
100%.
It is like
They use the house from the best little whorehouse in Texas.
It is not. The premise of that fucking movie, when you break it down and look at its story,
There's a premise.
that's what I'm saying. It's an absurd story. If you look at the linear function of the story itself, it's silly.
But it pays homage to so many different decades of horror movies.
Oh, sure.
At once.
It pulled everything together. I mean, it hit so many genres and subgenres in one film. And it's like, like I said, I saw that shit in the theater. It was uncomfortable to watch at points, not because it was so, just like what was happening was just so hard to watch. It wasn't that. It was because the way it was put together. I mean, we talked about the Walter Goggins scene where it just fucking pans out with everything frozen. And it's not even that long of a time, but man, in the theater, it felt like it was hours waiting for that fucking shot to go off.
Yeah.
And it was coming. There was no stopping it. That was a brilliant moment.
Well, even as you watch it, like if you watch it at home, it's the same thing. Like,
oh, it absolutely.
And you're just like, when does it happen? When is he gonna blow his fucking head off? And of course, and then you look at the cast, you know, like Sid Haig,
brilliant,
fucking fantastic, Godfather of horror. Like, fuck, the late great Sid Haig, I should say.
Fucking just the opening to that.
Karen Black, of course. The late great Karen Black.
So a love letter to Texas Chainsaw, right? Except for a little more cohesive and done with a little more emphasis on the fact that, once again, this is like similar to The Strangers. There is no reason. This is the reason. It's because sometimes bad shit just fucking happens, and you're in the wrong place poking your.
You just stumbled upon these crazy fucking people.
Yep.
Well, and you're dead now.
You introduce yourself to their world, they're going to show you theirs, and that's where it's going to come to an end.
Yep.
Great fucking.
It's basically
wondering up now.
Like looking back, like, and you can even attribute it to like the interviews and shit and the special features on the DVD. Like, it's basically if Chop Top got his own movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it's the same fucking character.
I don't. Chop Top's fucking Bill Moseley.
Yeah.
That dude could literally be menacing wearing a Bozo the Clown outfit.
Right.
Seriously pull off. It's crazy to watch it happen. He does everything he's in.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he is a character actor. That's sort of his job. But I mean, Jesus, watching him do it. I mean, in somebody like Chops, he's a fucking anemic albino redneck.
Yeah.
In reality, if you ran across that guy by himself, he'd probably kick his ass.
But he can go from Chop Top to like Johnny from Night of the Living Dead, you know?
Yeah.
Even then, I mean, with one of the classic lines of "They're coming to get you, Barbara."
Yeah.
He's making fun, or they're poking fun at the original to an extent, but even that line was delivered with a level of menace.
Yeah.
Like, he does it really fucking well. Like, that dude will pull you into a movie because you want to see what his next crazy ass fucking move is. And Zombie gets a lot of shit for putting Sherry Moon in all of his movies. First off, it's his wife. Everybody else can fuck off.
Yeah,
he can do it.
It's a family affair.
Yeah, they're his movies. If he wants to cast his wife and everything, let him do it.
But it's not even that. Baby Firefly's a great fucking character.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
She's wonderful. She's absolutely wonderful. Fucking all of them are. All the parts. Even Tiny, a non-speaking
McGrory.
role.
Matthew McGrory.
Yeah.
Seriously, like
No
bravo.
cruelty in almost anything he did. Like even on screen, you know what I'm talking about? His like there was actually no direct cruelty in anything.
You don't see him do anything, no.
No, it's just his presence and the way in which he moves and the mask and the fucking motion. And it's done well. And if granted part of it was playing on the size, but even I feel like that was almost secondary to the actual fact that there's a mute burnt to shit guy living in the fucking basement who also happens to be a tree.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like all the characters were great. Dr. Satan and his fucking placement, which by the way, once again from interviews, you might have seen this on the behind the scenes commentary from the original. Originally there was a scene in part 2 involving Rosario Dawson that ended up getting cut, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that was because he right, and it was Zombie's whole thought was like this it's too fantastic to add to the furthering of the story.
Well, not only that, but like Devil's Rejects was a different vibe altogether.
Yeah. It was
like
taken more
has more of a
seriously.
supernatural slashing vibe to it.
That one was like I would say House would be Texas Chainsaw 2, and then he made his attempt at like Texas Chainsaw 1 with Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. I could go with that, especially for no. Well, I mean, actually, that's a really good way to sum that up. Actually, I can get behind that 100%. I mean, there was even the fact that of all people, like you're still the fact that Zombie could make these truly despicable, disgusting fucking characters and really disgusting. I mean, even looking at part 2, Sid Haig waking up with the fat half-naked fucking gas station attendant next to him, pulling on his shit-stained fucking tighty-whities, and like literally making it a point to show it shit and piss stains. Like this is a gross motherfucker.
Yeah.
And his mostly washed away clown makeup being like, well, I gotta go clown business, and run off into the fucking world. Like it's the craziest shit that you would be rooting for that fucking character, but you are by the end of it. Like you're not feeling that bad for anything. Don't get me wrong, it's not a great way for some of them to go, but for the most part, you're like, can't wait to see how they get out of this.
Right.
Like who the hell do you do that for? You didn't do that in fucking Texas Chainsaw. Right. We're like, man, it'd be really cool if this fucking mutant with fucking somebody else's face on his head.
Yeah.
To go about his business.
Right.
Well, it's the same with 3 from Hell. It's a brilliant movie. People just
I consider that a good minus.
Yeah. I thoroughly
was.
enjoyed 3 from Hell.
Yeah.
It was a good send off for the crew, I think. Like that.
I thought it was
particular those particular characters, it was a good like end of the line. You know what I mean?
The dude that played whatever head, murder head, kill head, whatever the fuck his name was. The dude from
Richard Brake.
Thank you, him. He was a great addition. I mean, granted, he couldn't replace Sid, but he was still a great drop in.
Yeah,
he worked another guy who could play some serious menace when he
exactly. He fits in with the family for sure.
Yeah.
Like nobody can replace Spalding. Like that's never gonna happen. But
no.
And I don't think that's what Rob was trying to do with it.
I feel like he was trying to bookend
it. What's that?
I feel like he was trying to
bookend it. Yeah,
kind of like adding flair to a character that basically putting a little burst in the place where a character should be.
Yeah.
And honestly, like from House of a Thousand Corpses all the way to the end of with 3 from Hell, like it was like with 3 from Hell, it was a great tribute to Sid Haig.
Which is like I said, that's why I consider it like a Sid Haig send off. It was a way to say goodbye to
a
Yeah, exactly. But House of a Thousand Corpses is what kicked that all off.
Yeah.
And people can say whatever the fuck they want about Rob Zombie's movies. The guy is fucking brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
It's because he loves the source material.
Exactly. He's a horror fan making horror movies, like Damien Leone. You know, they're one and the same. They're horror fans making horror movies. You know.
He's making the movies he wants to make, and I say let him fucking do it. He's doing great work. But yeah, House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yep.
Gregor, what's next?
All right, this is one I'm sure James don't have. Children of the Living Dead.
I don't. I've never even seen
Me
it.
and Jason have
Almost
watched
added
that,
it,
Jim. What's that?
almost added it, chose not to. It wasn't because I hoped somebody else would find it, by the way.
Yeah. It's a great
Not a
movie
bad
for what it is.
Okay.
Wait, am I thinking about the right movie? Is Children of the Living Dead the one we watched together, Craig?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
With Tom Savini?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I would have added is because of Tom Savini.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like what they tried to do, and the fact is they did it with I'm fairly certain it was a single camera production. Like it was a low budget flick.
Yeah.
Put their hearts into it. The actors were definitely trying.
Mm.
It was not my thing. There were parts of it that were my thing.
Yeah.
But not all of it. It is. I put it up there with like a trauma movie, with the exception of the fact that trauma knows.
If you want trauma movies, you're gonna love my list.
I didn't add any trauma movies because I expected you to.
Right. For real though. Children of the Living Dead, Tom Savini.
It's not, dude. Just Tom Savini. The one scene with Tom Savini's actually makes it all worthwhile. Truthfully, and there are parts of it, like it is kind of cool that they tried to flesh out the, I guess, the basis to an extent for what could have caused Night, which is sort of that's the impression I got, is they were sort of trying to explain how it could have happened without making it obvious or without making it canon.
Right.
I can respect that.
My love for it is more of a sentimental thing. You know, I remember watching it growing up all the time, like as a teenager, and that's why it still sticks in my head.
Right. For sure.
Which I can also understand. I get that.
100%. Children of the Living Dead. All right.
You can watch it on YouTube.
YouTube? All right, cool.
Yep.
Jason, what's next?
Oh shit, I haven't been knocking stuff off the list.
Oh, come on now.
I don't feel good about it. I mentioned about a lot of drugs. You guys probably think that you know what I mean by that. You don't.
Not the drugs I'm doing.
They're all cough syrup related though, so at least it's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not sure which one of these I want to name off because they're both fucking great, and I'm pretty sure one of you might have one of these, so I'm not going to name it. I'll wait for you to do it. Earth versus the Spider.
Earth versus the Spider.
Yeah, Greg,
I
feel like you've seen it. A lot of people missed the shit out of it because it wasn't widely promoted.
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport was the main character.
Love him.
Right?
Love that guy.
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd, I
Love
think,
him.
produced it. I'm fairly certain.
I think
he
so.
Up as a part. There's a lot in this movie to unpack while watching it. And it sounds like Earth versus the Spider. It is not like, just hearing the title, it would not give you the faintest fucking clue what it's actually happening.
Right.
It's basically I can give you a synopsis without fucking anything up. A guy who works as a night shift security guard at a pharmaceutical company, I think.
Yeah.
Super lonely. He never sees anybody. He's always asleep at night. He's working at night and sleeping during the day. Comic books and movies are his big escape.
Right.
Accidentally falls afoul of an experiment going on that was derived from some type of spider, and he starts to develop spider-like abilities. So, of course, what does a comic book nerd do with that? Spider-Man, obviously. What do you think about it? So he wants to be a superhero. The downside is that the natural progression of a spider mutation would cause you to what?
Yeah.
Become a fucking super scary goddamn predator. Is what it would do.
So
this movie,
like, it's kind of like The Fly on steroids.
it really is. And honestly, the makeup effects, the special effects to it, everything that happens in this movie, it is so unexpected, and nobody heard about the fucking thing.
Right.
Like
Right.
when I saw it, it was on Showtime at like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of it. I had no reason to hear of it at the time.
Mhm.
It just showed up. And I was like, Spider fucking, I'll try it. Michael Rappaport, what the hell? Start watching it. By the end of it, I was just like, oh Christ,
Right.
that was fucking wonderful. And I tell my friends about it, and they're like, that movie doesn't exist. It does. I promise you.
I'm
It's
gonna
really
check
good.
that out. Or I have to. Michael Rappaport. You had me sold that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fucking great at what he does. And just
Fucking
Dan
A.
Aykroyd, a detective, trying to figure out why pets and people are going missing.
Love it. All right. Earth versus the Spider.
Yep.
Where can I find that, Jason?
It's not, to my knowledge, I've been trying to find it somewhere to stream for the past 5 years, give or take. It released,
Okay.
when it was, like I said, there was such little fanfare to it when it released. I never even saw a DVD of it until years down the road. I know they exist, but it was like, there was no fucking press given to this movie at all, and there really should have been.
Right.
This thing should have launched a fucking franchise.
Well,
it was a good.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for sure. That sounds fucking interesting. All right. I got the next one here, and I'm gonna shift course teeny little bit and go with Shaun of the Dead.
I had it.
Didn't add it because I expected somebody to.
Edgar fucking Wright, you goddamn genius. Comes up like probably my favorite trilogy when it comes to trilogies is the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, that's Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. And all three of them, it's called the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy because all three of them feature Cornetto, which is basically the British version of Nutty Buddy. And
actually, you can even argue Shaun of the Dead, it's the thing that kicks it off.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Or at least it's the thing that turns it into what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's where
and each of the movies has a Cornetto joke. Each of the movies has a Cornetto joke, and they're all like, you got Red and Shaun of the Dead for, blood and zombies and shit.
Yeah.
You got Vanilla, which is blue,
right,
for police and Hot Fuzz, and then you got green, which represents aliens and shit and World's End. But that's besides the point. Shaun of the Dead. Let's talk about. We've been talking about zombies, but we're going to talk about them in a funny way because this movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, but still, it still has its fucking heart-touching moments.
Yeah.
Oh, it really does.
And it goes dark very quickly.
Well, and that's the thing, right? When you watch, like, part of the thing that separated, like, even Night of the Living Dead, due to its lack of copyright, there were a lot of copies, and then for that matter, like, somebody grabbed the ball and ran with it and created something new. But all of them missed the one thing that movie had, which is that there is heart in it. There is a literal moment where you realize it's not like these are people that are having to deal with this. And that was the one thing Shaun of the Dead, man, they fucking nailed that.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, they did.
Like it is hilarious. There are parts of that movie that will actually it's as funny as, like, you go from laughing to tearing up.
Yeah.
Because it's such, like, you're invested in a character that's so fucking silly dealing with something that's so terrible.
Like, yeah, when they're saying goodbye to Ed, I just watched it the other night. When they're saying goodbye to Ed,
I'm sorry,
he's laying there holding his fucking neck. I love you, Ed. Gay.
What's up? Well, even then, his mother. Yeah. When they're sitting in the Winchester, it is
such a heartbreaking scene.
Like, she knows what's coming, he knows what's coming, but the fact that, like,
it's his mom.
I mean, Jesus, just him standing there and say, "Stop pointing that fucking gun at my mom." You know what I mean? Like, that scene. That's an intense fucking scene.
It really is. And if you remember, the poster for the movie it bills it as a romantic comedy with zombies. It's not a zombie romantic comedy. It's the other way around.
It's a romantic comedy.
There just happens to be zombies in a rom-com.
Which is, I mean, that's the whole thing. That was also the fact that, like, for any fans of the 90s and early 2000s Brit TV, most of the characters from Spit Spaced
Mm,
are in there, including the chick that he keeps running across was his roommate.
yeah.
Yep.
Which is funny because if you like for American audiences, like I
You
didn't
can
know
find Spaced on Tubi, by the way.
great show. Watch the shit out of that.
Fantastic.
I love it.
Love that show.
But just the fact that she was in there, like I at the time I thought it was funny he kept running into her. I thought, that's clever. But then after I saw Spaced, it suddenly clicked. I was like, holy shit! It added a whole other dimension because I suddenly realized all the shit happening in that movie related directly to that, which is fucking hilarious. It is hilarious that they chose to do that.
And I even noticed, like, that's just how Edgar Wright does his movies, because even Scott Pilgrim relates to these movies.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, shit. Didn't he do Run Fat Boy Run too?
I don't think that was Edgar Wright. That was Simon Pegg, but I don't think it was.
Simon Pegg and dude from Black Books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same guy that played David in Shaun of the Dead. I feel like it was an Edgar Wright movie. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Edgar Wright or not. We'll have to check on that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Shaun of the Dead. That's my number, I guess, 9 on this 10 before our break.
We're already at 9?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Right along with
lasting through this shit.
Yeah.
I've got so many movies that have to be named. Damn it.
There are. And we'll get to them, of course.
I'm actually
They'll all be
surprised that
named.
one of them hasn't been named off yet.
I'm sure we'll get to it.
You'll know it when you hear it. One of us is going to say it, and like everybody else is going to be like, oh, fuck yes. Like, it is definitely
Exactly. Gregor, what do you got for us?
Let's see. I'll just pick a random one here. Oh, Hard Candy. Not really a horror, but more of a very scary.
Fucking Elliot Page.
Elliot Page.
Oof. That movie is insane.
That dude.
Heard of it, never seen it.
Patrick Wilson? Patrick Wilson from The Conjuring.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson. Yeah.
Okay.
Played that part to a fucking T, but man,
he's great too.
I'm gonna say Elliot Page because I don't want to say.
Yeah.
You don't want to dead name him.
For otherwise, well, so I mean, that's like he.
Yeah. Yes.
Played that part just fucking wonderfully. I mean, Christ, all the way through it. There's not a moment where you really know what's happening, but you know you're still rooting for the character.
Yeah.
You're hoping that the character's right.
Right.
Which is weird because like the whole setup for the fucking movie, they're making it very clear that they may not be.
Yeah.
Right. It may be in their head, but you hope it isn't. You want them to be right, which is a hard thing to pull off, especially with the subject matter. You haven't seen the movie. I don't know if you've if you have are you familiar with any of it?
No.
Okay, so yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah, you can't really give too much of it away. Basically, it's like it's kind of a revenge movie, kind of.
Oh, it's very well. You could provide a basic synopsis. Okay, so a girl is contacted online by a guy who does youth photos, and he's well known. He's known in the industry. This is what he does. It's an understood thing, so nothing nefarious. And she ends up back at his place, and she proceeds to basically take him hostage and just fuck him up in innumerable ways.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really all I'm going to say because I don't want to say anything else. There's nothing else you can say without fucking it up.
There is a lot of cringe moments. That's all I can say.
Cringe moment. I like that kind of shit too. So I'll check that out.
You fucking root for everybody in the movie. You at one point in the movie, in every part of it, there will be a part where you're like, man, I hope he makes it.
And he doesn't.
Hope they get there in time. What the fuck was that? It's
I love shit like that. All right. So we're halfway through.
Yep.
Oh, God. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. Refill our beverages.
All right.
Go use the facilities. And
Oh, I'm good.
We'll be right back after this word from our
Oh, come on, fuck y'all. That was funny.
I didn't even hear you.
It's the masked road race set. The Rhino Rig and Venom Jackhammer are battling around the curves and down the straightaways with working headlights and laser cannons blasting away. A dual lap counter lets you know who's ahead. You're in command. Race head-to-head through the deadly squeeze track for real racing excitement. Meanwhile, the mighty Mask electric train set with Hurricane Chevy and Volcano van with launcher defend Boulder Hill. Nothing can stop the Mask train, where illusion is the ultimate weapon. Mask road race and train sets, each sold separately.
Welcome to my freaky Play-Doh party. Ooh.
It's the Play-Doh Count Creepyhead and Friends playset.
Awesome! To do that, squish in the Play-Doh, pick a mask, twist it on, and... Ooh! Now I'm a werewolf. 3D!
The Play-Doh Count Creepyhead and Friends playset comes with 4 masks and everything you see here. New from Kenner.
And we're back. Jason, what do you got for us?
All right, so as mentioned earlier, this is either on your list or it's something you guys didn't add because you knew I would. I don't know. Dog Soldiers.
I did not.
Neil Marshall. All right, that makes me happy.
I thought one of you would, so I didn't.
Fucking once again, another one of those movies that flew kind of under the radar. It should have. Man, that motherfucker was.
It did, because I've never seen it.
That is as intense of a werewolf movie as the original Howling ever tried to be.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
Wonderful. Like if there's classic monsters are your thing, Dog Soldiers takes the werewolf thing, makes it its own deal, and runs with it. It is fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
The acting is great. The special effects are fucking incredible. The storyline is good. It's a great movie. It should have seen a wider release. More people should have gotten behind it. Once again, another movie that should have launched a franchise and didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I had to write that down. I've never seen that. And I'm surprised I haven't seen a werewolf movie.
It's not just it is everything you've ever wanted to see in a werewolf movie is what it is. It's not just a werewolf movie. It is
what you dream a werewolf movie would be.
At least the ultimate werewolf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving right along. Not a lot I can pick here, but let's go Hostel Part 2.
I think that's on my list.
The reason I went with Part 2 is because of the story. You get
better
more
story.
of the story.
Yeah.
And
absolutely
honestly, a badass final girl.
Yeah.
Like way above badass.
Fucking A, dude.
That's
badass. He joins the clan.
Even without giving too much away, the way in which she does that is those ball fucking moves in horror history.
Literally.
Baller moves.
Let him bleed to death, she says, as she feeds the dogs their luxurious treat.
Without attributing it to the character, but I have to say it because it's also a cold fucking line. I could buy and sell everybody in this room.
Yep. Boom. Boom. Oh man. And Eli Roth, like the Hostel movies were what introduced me to him, and damn, he did a great job with them.
He was Cabin Fever for me.
Well, we'll get to that.
Cabin Fever. When I saw Cabin Fever, it was in the theaters with very little understanding of what I was walking into. It made me an automatic fan. I've watched everything since. Fuck, I have another thing on my list that is Eli Roth adjacent that I only watched because I knew it was Eli Roth adjacent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like...
It's funny you mentioned Cabin Fever because in this movie, Hostel Part 2, when they're in Iceland at the like the outdoor sauna thing and that outdoor pool, there's a farm like right next to it where he got the skin infection that inspired cabin fever.
Which is funny too. Yeah, especially the one scene, which I think we've probably all read about.
Yeah,
Which
the horse
also,
farm.
by the way, having seen that movie in theaters without knowing exactly what it was, that scene really did provide one of the cringiest moments of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just watching me like, why would you ever? Oh,
yeah,
you know, yeah, that movie, Hostel 2, was better done. Obviously, the budget was a little bit higher. The storyline itself was more involved. You gave a shit about the characters, which honestly, anybody watching the first Hostel, there's not a likable character in that fucking movie. Nobody is likable. They're all scumbags. Like, it's cool. By the end of it, you might be pulling for somebody, but at the beginning of it, you're just like, man, these are shitheads.
Like, but it's not totally different.
No, completely different. These are people in the wrong fucking place being preyed upon by the wrong fucking people. Literally, they were like the wrong people. Like they picked the wrong motherfucking one in that.
You got and some of the cast here, like you got Bijou Phillips, who at that point I hadn't seen in anything for a long time, and same with Heather Matarazzo.
Yeah.
Which God, but that was who the lady I referred to, I think, is Stinkface. Only because of is that who I'm thinking about?
With the nose.
Okay, so her, she was fucking great in it, especially even all the way up to the death scene. I mean, she was very good in it, and you pulled for her because she was such a whimsical little silly character, and she did it well. But then again, everybody did. Even the fucking villains in that movie, you sort of pull for, which once again is not an easy thing to pull off.
Yeah.
Well assembled. The effects were fucking incredible, and the story really does just run along. The second you're in it until it's over.
Absolutely. And the scene where they're trying to auction off, like sell off Bijou Phillips's character's death to somebody else. The cannibal. The guy who's eating the guy on the table. That is the director of Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. When actually another thing too, as far as like you mentioned that, like it actually reminded me, just the balls to the wall, cocaine fueled fucking frat bro that was pushing the whole thing, not having the fucking guts to do it, was an interesting fucking turn. That's not something that was in the average horror movie. That is not how that would have played out. So when people just chalk this up to like torture porn, and granted it is its own subgenre, but when people just chalk it up to torture porn and ignore, there's some real story involved there. You care about the characters, which is the hardest thing to pull off in a movie. Like making you care about a fictitious fucking creation is a difficult thing to do. And it was done well in part 2. So yeah, good call. Way better than part 1.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, the fact that it jumped straight off of part
1. It picks right up with the first one I thought. Like that was key to the second one working, and Eli Roth did it.
Fuck, I think it's the only one that I own. Like I think that's the one I bought.
I have the first 2 because part 3 isn't even worth mentioning. Part 3 isn't even worth mentioning. So Eli Roth had nothing to do with it. And you can tell. But all right. Krager.
All right.
What you got for us?
Let's see. Oh, Dead End. One of my favorites.
Ray Weiss. Good call. Very good call.
That was one that was like, maybe. But I had a feeling you'd say it. So.
Yeah.
Very good call. Then again, I would watch Ray Weiss in pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just him as a character, like in any character he's ever played.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he can play anything.
And
like for real.
The story, once again, unexpected. It is not, granted, it's not super, like if you're a genre fan, if you're a horror person, you could sort of see what's coming before it hits.
Sort of.
You get the idea. But it's done well.
Yeah.
Right.
The characters play their parts well. The the fact that Lynn Shay is in it is also fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, Lynn Shay, I'll watch her in almost anything too.
Mm.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, talk about a scene stealer. Look at fucking Kingpin.
Yeah.
Such an absurd fucking moment. Dude. She's one of the most memorable parts of that fucking movie.
Yeah.
For one, that scene. That's it.
I knew.
Not being a baby. It wasn't that
Oh
bad.
God.
It wasn't about good sex. It always makes me have to take a shit. You really knocked out that woman, seriously, she makes me happy in everything I watch her in. And what's great is she's gotten better as she's aged. Like, I mean, dropping her into the Conjuring franchise.
Yeah.
Or not the Conjuring, but is it the Conjuring franchise that she's in?
Yeah.
The other James Bond thing. Is it the Conjuring?
I think so, yeah.
The other James Bond? Insidious.
Insidious, thank you. Okay, there we go. She's fucking great in that. Like, it's not even the part that sucked was, I guess, the third one with the key thing or whatever.
I haven't seen any of them after.
It's the one where she fucking dies. Like, she gets killed by the thing, and it's like it was a moment where I was like, well, that fucking sucks, and I didn't even like the movie, but I didn't want her to die.
Right.
You know what I mean? I liked the first one, the first Insidious, and even the second one. The third one was fucking terrible.
Right.
At least in my opinion. Granted, I mean, other people might disagree.
I've only ever seen the first one, so I can.
Yeah.
Sorry to get so far off, by the way. Back to
good.
Dead. Wonderful fucking road trip movie with no finality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie. And once again, Ray Wise, you cannot speak highly enough of his approach to anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Even the side characters, the kids. The kids are normally obnoxious in fucking horror movies.
Yeah.
They're good in this.
Yeah.
They're good characters.
Yeah.
There you go. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I can't think of anything to add to that. Dead End.
Dead End.
Jason, what do you got next for us?
Just so many things that aren't going to make the list, and that makes me sad.
I know.
All right, so I'm going to name this in the hopes that nobody else thought about doing it. Trailer Park of Terror.
I thought about it, but I
haven't seen
switched it out for something else.
The reason why I added is, it's based off of I think ECW comic book series.
Yeah.
Or one shot. It's a great story. The acting once again, it's another movie that flew under the radar too.
Yeah.
It should have had all kinds of bolster to it. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
The effects are good. The storyline is great. The comedy aspects are fucking hilarious. But the horror aspects are truly terrifying.
Oh, you want happy ending?
There you go. Lost special ending number 5.
Yeah.
Great. Just the whole movie itself. First off, knowing that it's based off of a comic book, if you know that going into it, you can see it when you watch it. The way in which it's filmed, the way it's assembled, it follows a graphic perspective. It's done really well. And then the effect, and I don't think it had a super high budget. You know what I mean? It didn't have a low budget, but it definitely didn't have a high one.
Yeah.
They worked with the money they had, and they made it work.
They did.
They really did. The effects are fucking great. I mean, there are zombies running around in that fucking movie that haven't been seen since the likes of fucking House.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just the full prosthetics and latex. They look great.
Yep.
Add to which, with so many unlikable characters, it's crazy how much you want them all to succeed, including the fucking bad guys.
Yeah.
You want everybody to get what they want.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. That's a strange and unique trait in a story. It's not something you see often. There's always a clear protagonist and antagonist, and you know who you're supposed to root for. In this one, you root for everybody because everybody got fucked really hard.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's that. Without saying anything else, and it sounds like such a silly name, but seriously, if you have the opportunity, Trailer Park of Terror.
Yep.
Watch the shit. You will like it.
All right.
I think that may be on Tubi too right now.
Sweet.
Oh, I really hope
I'll
so.
look,
I hope as many people as possible can see that movie because nobody got to see it when it came out.
Yeah.
I'll look for it. All
I
right.
remember passing through. I got it at Walmart when it first came out, and the cover just sold me right away.
I did it
And
right
I saw
after
the cover. I was sold.
I used to. Well, it's like when I was in art school, I would set up multiple horror movies to watch when I was working on projects.
Yeah.
And the way I did it was by downloading DVI shit off the
Yeah.
internet. So like there was, I can't remember the name of the website, but there's one website that had all kinds of shit. If you looked up horror, it would come back with a bunch of shit. But if you looked up horror splatter, it would come back with even more. And so like if you kept searching and refining your search, and eventually I found a conjunction that ended up giving me like 50 pages of horror movies to look through.
Right.
Trailer Park of Terror, I was like, well, that sounds silly.
Yeah.
Fucking couldn't even work on my project because I was watching it. Normally, I would just be working on my project and occasionally look up at kill scenes. This movie I had to stop so I could watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Which to me says all that needs to be said about that. It's
Yeah.
a good fucking movie.
It is.
All right. Trailer Park Terror. Okay. Let's see. God, I only got like what, 2 more left that I can put on the list, and this is where it gets hard. Fuck.
We still have the honorable mentions.
I know.
That's what you told me last time, so I'm saying it to you now.
It's not working, and I feel your plight now. Okay. Battle Royale. Takashi Miike. Like, fuck.
That's fair. That's actually well, it'd be funny if Don. Like Craig yours. Honestly,
like that's all I can really say about that fucking movie,
Yeah.
man. Like it's on Tubi.
And it will make you hate
So,
and love you. Like, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, it's every character in that fucking movie is so well thought out. They are put together well.
Well-
The actors that played them fucking perfectly. And it's again another one of those movies where if you hate reading subtitles, you won't notice you're doing it 5 minutes in. Because
Exactly.
it's that fucking good.
Yeah.
It hooks you. It hooks you. It's one of those movies. And that's where we'll leave it. Fuck. All right. Craig. Getting down to the nitty gritty.
Punk Rock Holocaust.
Haven't seen it.
I was going to
Surprisingly. Surprisingly.
Punk Rock
have not seen it.
Holocaust. Trauma meets Warped Tour.
It's
Yeah,
it's not a
like,
bad
I-
movie, but you have to have a certain mindset to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be. To appreciate that movie for what it is, you have to have a love for what trauma is.
Yeah.
And I mean, most
Right.
horror people do, though.
Yeah.
I will say that. Like, I've met very few people that can't get behind like Romeo and Juliet or Toxic Crusader. You know what I mean? Like, there's an appreciation for Trauma's efforts,
Right.
and Punk
Yeah.
Rock Holocaust would probably hit that. Probably.
Right.
If you were to rank it among Trauma movies,
I'm just surprised I've never seen it. Like, it's horror
it's worth a
and
watch.
punk rock.
It is worth a watch. All right, you know what? Fine. I take it back. It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it. I've seen it like twice, which meant I choose to. I made the decision to watch it again. So like there is
Right.
something.
There's something there bringing you in.
Well, it's a trauma movie. I mean,
Yeah.
Class of
Of
Nukem
course.
High, is a terrible fucking film, but I've seen it 12 times. Like, how bad could it really be? So even Toxic Crusader is not a good fucking movie.
No.
You know what I mean? But I've seen it so many times I could act it out with it. Like that,
Yeah.
the next Rocky Horror for me, I could run with it. It's not a problem.
Right.
So that's fair. That's absolutely like I thought I was gonna make fun of this. I can't even make fun of it because it works.
See?
It took a minute for me to
Punk
think about
rock
it, though,
hard.
which should also tell you something.
Right. Punk rock holocaust.
Right after
Jason,
Surf Nazis Must Die.
do what?
Surf Nazis Must Die.
Surf Nazis must die.
Yeah,
Okay.
another trauma film. Feel free to watch it. That's one of the best scenes ever of a very large, angry black woman playing a black stereotype on a surfboard, killing surf Nazis. What's a surf Nazi, you ask? It's in the name. Figure it out.
Right. Doesn't take much. Does not take much. I have to just get based on the name alone. Okay, what are we going? We're down to our final three now.
Are we? So this is the last three. I have to pick one. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, fuck. Oh, shit. Damn it. So many good ones. Diary of the Dead.
I had it on my list.
I did not have that one on my list. It was a good movie, but I didn't have it. I did like the fact that it was the first movie where somebody actually put some thought into anything with it, like with the whole pool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole idea of like just drop in the pool. What the fuck are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's an argument.
Right.
What the fuck are they going to do?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I like how it was basically Romero starting over.
Yeah.
And telling from the beginning once again.
Starting over, but also with leading up to what would later become what was the last of the Dead movie Romero did?
Survival
of the Dead. That was the one where they learned to eat other things.
Yeah.
So Diary of the Dead actually, if you watch it, leads directly to that. There were indications that was coming, which led me to believe that was always the intention.
Right.
Right. I'm not to say that they were going to be like some evolved thing, but more or less that it was the new order of the world. And I do feel that like once it stopped being about consumerism and everything else, which it did, by the time you hit which one had Dennis Hopper in it?
Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. By the time you hit Land of the Dead, it ceased to be a political statement in any way, shape, or form, with the exception of like rich versus poor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Originally, it was a consumerism thing, and then it was actually, the original wasn't anything except for how humans were actually the bad guys, really,
Right.
And then it was consumerism, and then it was actually kind of back to humans are the bad guys, and then it was like rich versus poor, and then Diary of the Dead was just, this is the situation, this is how we have to deal with it.
Right.
Leading up to Survival, which was literally, these are now the dominant species. This is the world that's coming. It's already over. There is no good ending here. Everything is dead.
Yeah. But
although I guess they never really explained whether or not the horse would wake back up as an undead horse.
If it ever got a chance to.
Also, that could have been eaten down to the bones, I guess.
Yeah. Or eaten to a point where there's no way for it to possibly come back. Like the brains got eaten and shit. So hard to say.
That's what when I was a kid, I was always slightly confused about, because you had all right, so if the brains are eaten, can't come back, right?
Right.
But in the Return of the, which granted they're not part of the Romero zombies, but still, I consider it to be of the dead. So if the brains are eaten, is like most of the time the zombies in the Return of the Dead series wanted to eat brains.
Right.
Those things came back in some cases. Did they intentionally leave bits of brain so they could?
Maybe.
Was it intentionally trying to spread itself?
Maybe. Perhaps.
Look at Return of the Living Dead 2. Dude bites his mom's skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, literally just crunches in. And then you think about all the zombies begging for brains, which means they always go for the head first. But those, they come back.
Yeah.
It's like they left enough with the brain.
I've never really put real thought into this until now.
I think it's more if you're sick, you're coming back, than if you're bitten.
Right.
Well, that's if you get a bite elsewhere, it'll turn into an infection that will kill you.
Right.
And then you come back. Right. because even the kid in Return took a bite, got sick, was alive for like 2 days, and then came back and bit his mom's skull.
Yeah, but he didn't get bit. He got gassed in the face.
Good point. Oh, that is true. And also, you don't see his mom running around at all.
No. And if you think of the very first Return of the Living Dead, suicide never came back, or any of them. It was only people who got gassed.
Wait, no, Trash did, and she got devoured.
Well, that's true. Trash did. But she was out in the rain, too.
That's a good point. I guess this is the reason why you can't add the Return to the series, because it really fucks everything up.
Anyway, back to 2000.
Right. I'm dial it back another 20 years there. All right. But yeah.
There is a story in there, and I will find it. It doesn't exist.
Diary of the Dead. I love the way it's shot. I love the fact that it's taking you back to the beginning of the outbreak. And
good movie.
It's just a road trip movie with zombies, pretty much.
Yeah.
And it's great. But
yeah.
Craig, what you got next?
I think my last one
Second to
on
last
the list is gonna be Rose Red. Just because I have so many, like
I didn't.
So many more significant.
I left that off because I knew you were gonna say it.
Sentimental memories. You know what I mean? Like watching that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember owning the VHS.
Yeah, I have the DVD.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rose Red. I left it off because I knew you were gonna. Oh yeah.
I did. I put it behind something else because I wanted to name it, but I wanted to be sure that there was a backup for it. Because I thought somebody was going to. Like, Rose Red was a fucking great. It was a great series. Like that was a wonderful series.
For sure.
And once again, under the radar, especially for a Stephen King, literally direct to fucking TV adaptation. It was written to be a show.
Is this place haunted?
What's that like? God, yeah, Julian Sands playing the fuck like Julian Sands, right? From Warlock.
Mm.
That motherfucker is brilliant. He plays that character great. The weird psychic who had an obsession with his mom. You pull for him and hate him at the same time. It's
Mommy's little scoot about.
Yeah, that's Mommy's little scoot about. Yeah, exactly. Serious.
Sometimes we scoot about for ice cream. Sometimes we scoot about to the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's about here. It's out there. It's scoot about town. Stay out of the fridge, fuck nut. Don't talk to anybody. Just stop talking.
I might be hard up, girls, but I'm not that hard up.
Well, then there was. It does fall on the classic trope of the weird, mentally disabled character in Stephen King stories, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, which I don't know. Like, you guys have caught that before. I mean, you've seen it in The Stand. You've seen it in. Shit, really, in a lot of stuff. I mean, it was in The Stand. It was in Rose Red. It was in The Shining to an extent. But only in what?
Yeah.
Dreamcatcher.
Oh, fuck, it was, wasn't it?
Yep.
That's right. We got Scooby-Doo. We got some work to do. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so he does have a weird kind of fallback on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It works. I don't feel like it's a.
He doesn't exploit it really.
It's not a. Yeah, it's not a crutch, but there is something to it. It's weird that it happens so often.
Yeah.
Right.
And in this case, in Rose Red, I mean, the main character, the strongest main character, is literally an autistic child that has been referred to as retarded on multiple occasions.
Yeah,
right.
By Mommy's little scoot about asshole.
Yeah.
You know, which you start to realize why he's an asshole. He's not even like shit. You like him by the end of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But Stephen King does draw a lot of inspiration from his life growing up too. So it could just, be something from that, who knows?
Yeah. I was thinking it might be.
I never really put much thought into it.
I don't know.
Do what?
It's kind of weird though. I mean, if you think about it, like he has Stephen, he's said in multiple interviews, what he writes about are the things that make him uncomfortable and make him afraid.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's exactly where he's going with that. I'm just
Right.
it has something to do with it.
Right.
This is a relatively new realization for me. I know that I've read
All
some.
good. I never thought about it before, so it's all good.
I never thought about it either.
But
Well, this is not
Jason,
like
oh, no, finish off. Finish what you're saying.
no. I was just saying it's kind of a weird thing when you stop and consider it. I mean, even for anybody that read The Dark Tower, that series in particular is actually kind of falls on the shoulders of an autistic, relatively closed in character.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a strange thing when you really lay it out and start thinking about it.
Right.
Like, is it a trope or is it because it was what was best for the story? I mean, it works for the stories. The stories are fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe I'm putting too much thought into it.
It's kind of what we do
I'm
here.
with that because the stories fucking work.
It's kind of what we do here. But Jason, you got the end of the. You're the caboose tonight.
I have to pick out the 20th out of a list of 20 that I have. Holy shit, we didn't hit really that many at all. Oh my god.
There's a lot of honorable mentions.
Well, I mean, there are so many that deserve
mention.
Yeah.
I don't. It's.
Mm-hmm. This is a tough one.
All right, so if I have to name one that is 100% worthy of its own thing, I'm actually going to go with Behind the Mask.
Yes.
I knew somebody was going to name it.
Great choice. I'm surprised.
It's the rise of that movie for once again another one of those fucking movies that people didn't see.
Yeah.
Not their fault. The advertising was garbage for it, but it was also coming out at a time where everything was being released just machine gun fast.
Right, rapid fire.
Yeah. People missed it. But man, it's wonderful. It spawned an entire comic book thing. It did wonders for the genre. I would say it even created a rebirth for slashers.
Yeah.
It was great. Robert Englund got to play against type as the voice of reason. It's a good movie. It's fucking great.
Fantastic.
And it is hilarious.
Well written, well shot.
Well, Jesus, just the tropes. It explains every trope. Like in a world in which slasher is a calling. You know what I mean? Like it's not a sickness. It's just slashers have to exist. So this is how we do it. I mean, the whole idea that the main character's, I guess, influence when you first meet him, played by I think Kane Hodder. It wasn't Kane Hodder. It was
shit. I can't remember.
He played Jason in one of the movies. He also played.
I can't remember.
He played several slashers. Shit. Point of the matter is, the whole thing is when you first comes across this person, he is like he's talking to his wife, asking where he is. He's like, well, he's been in the chamber for 3 days. 3 days. He's been dead for 3 days. Is what he's been. So it's like this whole like preparing for it. Just like, how does a slasher catch up just walking? Oh, I'll show you. And it's literally walking when you're looking, but if you're not looking, they're running as fast as they can. Shit, but it's still like there are still parts that are horrific. It's still scary. When he clicks into slasher mode, he is a slasher. He's not the guy that you get to know, and that is what pulls the rug out. It's a brilliant movie.
It really is.
It deconstructs and reconstructs slashers in a way that is just not done. It's never been done except for this movie that I know of. I mean, it's not even like a lot of times you look at something like not Scream, but the rip-off version that was funny.
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie. You look at Scary Movie. That's hilarious, but that's a parody. This isn't a parody.
No.
I don't know what this is. This is.
I called it a tribute.
Yeah.
You could call it a tribute. You absolutely could. But a tribute,
like you said, it takes
by itself.
It takes place in a world where those characters are real, and he's aspiring to be that, and it's a fucking like Vice piece.
And that actor, by the way, the guy that played Leslie Vernon, Jesus Christ, he fucking nails it. Like his
absolutely.
Well, you have the one scene in which they sort of tip somebody off without meaning to, and he gets cold as shit after being so warm and friendly.
Right.
That's a menacing moment. Like it is. Like that's the moment where it becomes an actual horror movie, and then it switches right back into this weird behind the scenes thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's effortless. It is done very well.
Right. But
then I can't say anything else about that movie except for please watch it if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. Pretty much it.
Yeah. I don't like you literally can't like Robert Englund's in it. That's the best you can do.
There you go. There's your selling
He's
point.
also in this movie. He's very good.
And he does a great job. But yeah, I couldn't shit. I'm glad you said that, man. Because that definitely deserves to be on it. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. All right. Honorable mentions. That's our countdown to this point anyway. We have one more section to go.
One more section.
That's going to be even harder.
Yeah.
This one was hard. I thought the 90s would be the hardest. This one was harder.
This one was hard.
This one was difficult.
Well, it's because the 90s were almost like a rebirth. And then this one, once again, people just hit the ground running. And then you have everything that's happened since then. It's if you look, all right, so if you randomly decide to type into your browser horror movies released 1970 to 1979, the list is not that long. I mean, there were a bunch, and if you're a horror fan, you know there were a lot.
Yeah.
But when you look at the list, you're like, yeah, it's about right. But the further you go into it, that list becomes longer and longer and longer. Like by the time you hit this list, it's a long fucking list, and it doesn't even include everything. I mean, there's movies that I have on here that I own that I fucking love that were not on those lists.
Right.
You know, and I'm thinking that 2010, 2019 is going to be really, really fucking hard to narrow.
It's going to be a stretcher. It's going to be a stretcher, but we'll do it, boys. We're going to do it. We're going to complete this countdown.
It's going to happen.
All right. Time for the honorable mentions. And I'll just go down my list here. The Friday the 13th remake.
I didn't add it because I was hoping somebody else would.
I didn't mention any remakes this time around. I tried my best to stay away from them. The Dawn of the Dead remake.
Also, hoping somebody else would.
Let's see, where are we at? 28 Days Later.
No.
Didn't do it. Thought somebody else would.
You mentioned it earlier, Cabin Fever.
I did have that one
though. Shadow of the Vampire.
I thought you would name that one. That's the reason I did not.
When we got down to the nitty gritty, that was one of the ones I was biting my tongue.
That's Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich chewing scenery for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing. Go watch it. Land of the Dead.
Also a great movie. Mentioned earlier.
Yes, sir. Queen of the Damned.
Good because, I mean, honestly, I like Lestat better than that.
Absolutely. And Aaliyah did a great job as well.
She did.
Like I thought it was great. The Devil's Rejects.
Obviously.
Halloween.
The remake, very good.
Yes, sir. So that's all Rob Zombie stuff put out in the 2000s, by the way.
Yeah.
Except
I did think about just putting Rob Zombie.
Yeah, I almost lumped them as a whole, but I just Dreamcatcher.
Which one?
Dreamcatcher.
Not good. I thought the book was better though. They didn't adapt well.
Right. No, I agree with you there, but it was a good movie if you can isolate it.
Yeah.
And last but not least, The Midnight Meat Train.
Almost added it. Chose not to specifically because I was thinking somebody was going to name it. But once I realized that it's finally clicked with me that as we do these, it cuts down on our ability to actually add. So like I come up with 20, you come up with you come up with 20. There's only be 20 out of it. So
yeah,
1 out of every 3 is what's going to make it, which is
that's what makes it. That's why I wanted to do this because it.
That's another one people fucking missed.
Yeah. Yes.
They shouldn't have, and it's a Clive Barker
Vinny
story.
Jones is one of the scariest motherfuckers.
Dude, he is, and he played that part. Like Vinny Jones normally plays this weird, sort of intentionally menacing character.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even menacing in that movie. He's not meant to be. He's meant to be a side throwaway character that just happens to show up repeatedly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he is fucking great in it. Doesn't have a line. Just him being himself.
He has one line and it's one word.
Oh, that's true. He does. You're right.
It's at the very end of the movie. But Bradley Cooper, great job.
He's also really good in it. The obsessive fucking need to figure it out. Great movie. And once again, people did not see it. There was not enough promotion done for it, and there should have been.
One of those
Another Clive Barker story, though. So there you go.
Absolutely. Craig, honorable mention.
Let's see. Laid to Rest.
Okay.
Ed Gein movie.
The Butcher of Plainsfield.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
Bubba Hotep.
I'll put it on Don Course. Kelly, give it to me.
Trick or Treat, which I'm surprised wasn't named.
Yeah, wow.
I have it on my list. I chose to do a prize.
I got Poultrygeist.
Poultrygeist.
High Tension. Silent Hill.
High Tension's great.
Yeah.
Silent Hill.
Dead Silence. And honestly,
Dead Silence
Activity made my list.
The first one was really good.
Paranormal Activity should have made the list. It rebirthed the genre. Like there was interest was waning, and then Paranormal Activity came out. It sort of rebooted everything.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's a bunch of horror movies coming out right afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm good with that as an answer. If no other reason than it really did.
If they would have just made that first one, I would have been okay with Paranormal Activity being a thing. But they kept going with it.
Mark and all that other shit. Like that was, I liked almost where they went with it, and then this last one that came out that they released straight to Paramount Network. Not good.
Right.
I mean, not bad, just not. Like, it didn't further anything. There was no fucking point.
Yeah.
I get that 100%.
All right.
But yeah, what are your honorable mentions, Jason?
So Ginger Snaps.
Good one.
Also Catherine Isabel. Fucking, that's what introduced me to her. Wonderful, wonderful actress. 13 Ghosts.
Another good one.
What else we got? Ghost Ship.
I haven't seen that one.
Ghost Ship has one of the best opening death scenes of any movie that's ever been made.
Right.
Like, period. Even if you don't watch the rest of the movie, the first 20 minutes watching. It stands up now.
Right.
Monster Man. A lot of people didn't see that one.
Another good one.
Might as well have been a sci-fi movie, but it was really funny. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Yes. Right. I left that off mine strictly because one of you two.
I didn't name it because I started, like I said, I started to really realize this time around it was 1 out of every 3.
Yeah.
Dead Birds. I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to see that.
No, but I've heard about it.
Oh, it's good. It's really good. It is. It's genuinely frightening.
Yeah.
That's the best way I know how to put it.
Okay.
So, Dead and Breakfast.
Dead and Breakfast, another great one.
I actually not sure if I own it, but I've been considering buying it recently just because I haven't been able to find it on any streaming platform.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny. Let's see, where are we at? Saw.
Okay. The first one, I'll give the first one a pass. Because
bearing in mind, I asked Craig to make a meme about this newest one. Like it's silly that it's still going, but I do enjoy it. I think they're hilarious.
And Jigsaw was good.
No, yeah, absolutely, it was. It actually spiraled. The Chris Rock thing was not bad.
I didn't see that one.
It's good. It's a
Where
good
can I
movie.
find that?
In my iTunes library, if you sign in
I'll have to, yeah.
on it. So that was that. 2001 Maniacs, the Robert Englund version.
Great one.
Okay. I haven't seen that.
Also in the iTunes library. And that was the movie that I was saying that was Eli Roth adjacent because he makes a cameo.
Okay.
Yeah, great fucking movie.
Hey, Robert Englund.
The Descent.
Yep. Altered, which Craig and I watched together. Craig, you know why I added it. Unexpected. It's unexpected. That's the best way I know how to put that. Like it's
Altered. I want to say I've seen that.
Bunch of rednecks catch an alien.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Nobody saw that one. Nobody advertised for it. Let's see where are we at. Jack Brooks, Monster Slayer, which I still want you to watch. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
It's wonderful. It's once again, it's in the iTunes library. Find a computer, sign in.
Gotcha.
Grindhouse.
Yes.
Mostly because of Planet Terror.
Yes.
But also because of Death Proof.
Death Proof is fantastic. Stuntman Mike.
It's fucking wonderful, right?
Yes, sir. Kurt Russell, man.
Let's see here. Finally, Splinter. A lot of people missed this one too, but they should have seen it. It is straight up true body horror fucking horror.
Yeah.
It is frightening. Only because what it implies.
Right.
Yeah. Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
2. Spring Fever.
Cabin Fever 2. Ooh, okay.
Yes. Only because they just got more ridiculous.
Yeah, they did.
Also, Feast and Feast 2.
Yes.
And the last 2 that I have, Doghouse. A lot of people missed it. It was a British movie. It's a bunch of guys that end up going on a stag party and end up in a place where a bioweapon's been released that turns all the women into straight up fucking murderous zombies. It's hilarious.
All right.
And finally, Lesbian Vampire Killers.
Oh my God.
Once again, British movie that is fucking hilarious. I'll give you this much. The people can only beat the super cruel, bad woman vampire with the sword of Dieldo. Just tell you everything you need to know. Guess what the handle looks like?
Oh, I can imagine.
It's fucking hilarious.
Oh boy. Well, we're 80 in, 20 more to go.
20 more to go.
This is exhausting. maybe it's just the day that I've had. I don't know. It's a fun day, busy day.
No, it's getting harder to not name stuff. There's movies you fucking love that we can't add into the list, and it's
But we're gonna take a break from our countdown here this week and pick up with it next week probably, because we're going into the den on Tuesday to speak with Josh Petrino, who is the visual effects artist for Terrifier 2, Hatchet 3, Chillerama, a bunch of other shit as well. So be sure to tune in for that. We had to postpone our originally scheduled programming for that, but he's coming on. It's going to be a great conversation. Yeah, how dare you get sick?
Yeah, thanks for that.
How dare you fucker. Nah, I'm glad you're feeling better, dude. Seriously. But we can't wait to have Josh on, and we're going to complete this countdown.
Yep.
We're well past Halloween by this point, but who cares? If anything, that'll be it.
We did our part.
And then we have some other guests coming as well, so be sure to stay tuned and see what we have coming up. Check us out on Facebook.
Yep.
Craig, Jason, as always, we'll see y'all next time.